Hello and welcome back once again, friends. This is Abhijit Kundu and you are watching KUNDU'S Education. Friends, today is a very important day for me as I introduce my GST input reconciliations tools release 4.1. Friends, if you look for GST input reconciliations tools today on YouTube platform, you will get a number of tools. But believe me, friends, you can't get anything better than this. So why I call it the best one to know, let's move on to the computer screen and watch the demonstrations of the tools.
Friends, so far we have reconciled GSTR 2A with our books data. But now we have to reconcile the 2B data with books data. Of course, there are some reasons to reconcile 2B data, especially when the GST department has made it clear that you can claim your GST input only when it is available in your 2B data. So unless and until it is reflecting in your 2B data, you cannot claim the input credit even though you have made a valid purchase. So friends, it has become absolutely necessary to find out the suppliers who have not filed their return on time and due to which you are not being able to claim your GST input credit. And not only that, sometimes it may happen that some of the suppliers has filed their GSTR 1 with your GST number by mistake, and as because of their mistake it is reflecting in your GSTR 2B. So you should not claim that GST input also. So for these reasons it has become absolutely necessary to reconcile the GSTR 2B with your books data. And friends, before we start showing the demonstration of these tools, let's take a look at the important features of it. Friends, it has so many important features that makes it one of the best free Reco tools. Number 1, Release 4.1 is a reconciliation tools between books and GSTR 2B. Number 2, a single click button is given there in the Reco sheet for complete auto reconciliation in less than a minute. Number 3, it has 3-layer search engine that maximize the number of matching, ignoring the differences of invoice number. Number 4, it reconciles debit notes and credit notes in addition to invoice. Number 5, it produces separate matching tables for invoices, debit notes and credit notes. Number 6, it has the feature of logical reasoning that helps to produce auto reconciliations. Number 7, it is very flexible. A tolerance limit setting option is given that allows the user to set tax difference, and then user wise remarks option is also given for mismatches of invoices. Number 8, a sheet named return format has been introduced to generate input to credit report as per 3B format. Number 9, separate annexures are generated for all different reasons for mismatches of invoices. Number 10, it highlights the invoice number in case of duplicate invoice in your books data. Number 11, a reset button is given in the configuration sheet which will allow to make the tools a blank one for fresh use in a single click. And then point number 12, which makes the tools better than release 4, that is a single click button is given in the Reco sheet to clear the reconciliations part to re-reconcile with modified input data. Friends, this tool has in total 17 sheets including this description sheet. In the configuration part, here you have to configure the tools for the first time with the details of your form, Now from next to config sheets to tally DRCR, these 5 sheets are data input sheets, whereas Reco, return format and annexure AB are the output sheets. 2B data, books data, CN, books CN, DN and books DN, these 6 sheets are the processing unit. Friends, before we start, I must say it takes some time initially to open, but after opening it works very fast. Now we are on the configuration part. Here you have to replace the name, address and GST number as per your data. Now there are 2 mandatory fields, that is one for month, another for year. Now to select this month and year, drop down menu is given there. So you can select the related month from here. Now as we reconcile the data for the month of November, so we will select November from here and we will keep it 2021. Now there are a few more rows down the road about which we will discuss later part of the video. Now let's start the demonstration with a set of data. Friends, I have prepared this data just to show you how to do the reconciliation. Before we proceed, friends, let me tell you that we have divided this video into 2 parts. In the first part, today we will show the demonstration with half processed data, and in the second part of the video we will show the demonstrations with the help of raw data that will help you to use the tools properly. And one more point, friend, please do not try to escape the video, because if you don't follow each and every step, you may not be able to use the tools properly. So now open downloaded 2B sheets. Friends, from this 2B part, we will be required only 2 sheets. Number 1 B2B data and number 2 B2B CDNR. Now we will keep our cursor in the A7 and select the entire sheet from here, and then copy the same and paste it on the GSTR 2B B2B data on the B7 cell. As it is in the same format, it will be pasted without any error. Then we will copy the B2B CDNR in the same fashion and paste it onto the B2B CDNR sheet. After pasting, we will simply close 2B data. Now there are 2 more sheets given. Number 2 is GSTR2. Let's open this sheet. Here you can see it is downloaded from Tally. If you look at the tools, you will find Tally GSTR2 sheet. Friends, I have designed it for Tally. You can also arrange your data in the same fashion. Now in GSTR2 data, there are some extra columns which we do not require. Place of supply, then status, and there are some double tax column. So we will simply select this and delete before we make the copy from here. Now we will simply select this data, paste as it is in the GSTR2 sheet of the tools. As soon as we paste it here, we can see the summary of the invoices just above the invoice tables. You can see total 285 invoices with total invoice value, taxable value, IGST, CGST, SGST and sales are displayed here. If you look at the opening unadjusted bills, it is showing 0 as we have kept it blank. Now if you have some unadjusted bills prior to this concerned period, you can paste it here. Here we have some opening unadjusted bills, so we will simply copy it from here and paste the same in these sections of the data. As soon as we paste it here, we can see there are opening unadjusted bills list also. So as a whole, we have to reconcile 370 books data with 2B data. Now we will simply close the opening unadjusted bills data. Now there are one more input options available, that is tally DER/CR. If you have any debit voucher, credit voucher in your books, then you have the options to paste it here. And in our case also we have some debit and credit vouchers. So before pasting it onto the tools, we will simply delete the unrequired columns. Now we will simply copy the data and paste on the tally DER/CR part of the tools. Now it's done. We can close GSTR. Now as we have filled the tools with the set of input data, we will move to the Reco sheet to carry out the reconciliation process. As you can see, there is no data available in the Reco sheet. So what we will do, we will simply click here to carry out the reconciliation. But wait, before you click here, you have to enable macro by clicking here. Once you do it, now click here to reconcile. Friends, it is very fast. It takes only 8 to 10 seconds of time to reconcile 3 to 400 invoices. Here you can see the matching result. You can see total 284 is of exact match out of 285 data of your GSTR 2B, whereas one number is not available in books. Again, in the purchase register, out of 370, 86 is not available in books. Here you can see the entire details from taxable value to total tax. You can find the details here. You can find the same here of credit note and debit note. And here at the top of this sheet, you can find the reconciliations of invoices, reconciliations of credit note and debit note. Now here you can see the difference sections. Tax difference is minimum. That means your data is correct. If there are huge difference, that means there may have some problem in your books data. Friends, you can see in this Reco sheet, total tax credit as per 2B and then total tax credit as per books data and reason of differences for these data. Now, as you can see, one invoice in your 2B which is not available in books. Now we will show you why this is not available and what is the reason behind it. Now to know it, we have to check the processing part of the tools. Now there are 6 processing parts. Each two relates to these 3 sections: invoice, credit note and debit note. For invoice sections there is to be data and books data. For credit note there is CN and book CN, and for debit note DN and book CN. So as we are checking the GSTR to be part, so let's move to the to be data sheet. Friends, if you have already used my GST input reconciliation tools, you can see there is 3 parts in the processing unit. The first part is your to be data. The third part is the invoice value as per your books data, and the second part is the difference between the to be data and books data. Here in this release there is status options given. If the value of each invoices matches with each other, it will show matched and the color of the cell will be green. But if it doesn't match, then it will show as unmatched and the color of the cell will be red. Of course, apart from match and unmatched, there is one more option, that is partly matched. In case of mismatch of tax amount, in spite of matching of invoice number, the status will show as partially matched and the color of the cell will turn into yellow. Now here is the only one unmatched invoice which is found in 2B but not available in books. Now if we look at the middle part of the sheet, we can find there are 2 reasons column given. One is logical reason, another is confirmed reason. Now logical reason part is autofilled. It is autofilled, you cannot do anything here. But in the confirmed reason sections, there is a drop down menu given from where you can select the proper reason. You can alter the logical reasons with your confirmed reasons. But in case of RCM invoice or in case of ineligible input, you cannot make any changes. Here it is showing that is RCM invoice in 2B. So if it is correct or not, to know this, let's copy the invoice number from here and let's move to the GSTR 2B B2B sheet and find the same. If you come here, you can find that this section is yes, and if you go to the upper part, it is showing supply attract reverse charge. So if it is yes, that means it is RCM. So there is no questions to be available this data in your books. So it is correctly written as RCM invoice in GSTR 2B. Now you can see that in the Reco part also, this is described as RCM invoice in GSTR 2B. This is the taxable value of 70,000, consists of CGST and SGST is of rupees 6,300 each. This is the same data. Now from here you can confirm the same by selecting the options from the drop down menu. Now there is no more unmatched data. Now you can see there are 86 number of invoices which are available in your books data but not in 2B data. But before we proceed here, I would like to inform you, after carrying out the reconciliation, the tax difference is not zero. The reason behind it, if you take a look at the matched invoices, let me select all the matched invoices from here, and then if we select the total tax difference, you can see there are so many invoices which are not equal to 0. That also showing matched. Now why this invoice is showing as matched? This is not actually matching. This is not identical match, but it is showing matched. Now the reason behind this is, in the configuration part there is one option given, that is the tolerance limit for total tax difference. As we have allowed the total tax difference up to ₹1, it will match even there is a difference of tax between your books data and your to-be data. Now if we make it to 0 or 0.01, it turns to partially matched. That means the invoice number are matching but invoice amount not matching. Now you can see that your tax difference is 0, but there are some more reasons for difference, that is lesser amount filed by supplier and over amount filed by supplier. So that is because you haven't made it corrected. So to get the exact match data, you have to do the necessary corrections in your books data. For these reasons, we normally set the tax tolerance limit to 1. So from here you can change the tax difference tolerance limit. Now moving to those unmatched data which are available in your books but not in your to-be data. Now see, these are the invoices which are available in your books data but not available in to-be. So the logical reason is saying invoice received but return not filed by supplier. Of course, you have received the invoice, that's why it is reflecting in your book, but as it is not reflecting in to-be data, that means supplier haven't filed their return. So you can carry out the confirmation from here. If you want to change the reason to other reasons, you can do this also. If you write goods received against backdated invoice, then if you select here, depending on the confirmed reasons, logical reason will also be changed. Now you will not change it. We will simply keep it invoice received but return not filed by supplier. We will simply copy this one and we will paste the same for other invoice. Now if we move to this Reco sheet, we can find that this is the total invoice value, out of which this belongs to RCM, and this is the books data, and out of which these invoices returns have not been filed by the supplier. So this is the reasons for difference. Now if you want to make some of the invoices as backdated invoice escaped earlier now considered, you can select from here. As soon as you select from here, the logical reasons also change to backdated invoice escaped earlier now considered. Now if you change this some of the invoices to this option, now in the Reco part you can also see that there is one reasons for mismatches, that is backdated invoice escaped earlier now considered. Now if somehow you are not satisfied with the options of reasons given here, you can set your own remarks also. Yes friends, in the configuration part there are 4 user defined reasons options given. The first 2 is for the to-be data and the last 2 are for books data. Now if you want to give your own remarks in books data, you can always write your own reasons here. Say if you choose previous period invoice considered, Here in books data, you will find the same options here, previous period invoice considered. So you can select some of the invoices as previous period invoice considered. Now if you take a look at the Reco sheet, you will find that there is one option, previous period invoice considered, and the value of those invoices are of these figures. So here you can get the customized reasons for mismatches of invoices, and there are credit notes and books credit note and DN and books DN in the same fashion. Now there are one more sheet, that is written format, that is very important. It is auto populated based on the reconciliations part. Here you can see that ITC available part. Here inward supplies liable to reverse charge. There is actually two part given, that is RCM invoices against registered party, that is auto populated, and RCM invoices against unregistered party to be inserted manually. It is written here. Of course, there may have some unregistered party against which you may have to pay the taxes under RCM. So you will be eligible to get the input credit against those in RCM invoices. So for these cases, you can claim those inputs. Say 10,000 is your RCM CGST SGST from unregistered party. So you will write 10,000 here. Your total RCM inward supplies liable to reverse charge will be 16,300. Now all other ITC is these figures. These are auto populated from the reconciliation part. You can see total B2B invoice credit to be booked is these figures. You can see here it is the same. Apart from invoice data, debit notes and credit notes figure also getting reflected from Reco sheet. Now here is one more option given. You can see user defined input credit. In the written format, you are getting this figure from here, but you may not be familiar with the calculations, how it arrives. So to make it clear, I have given one option, that is user defined input credit. Now I want to show you something. Let's write 1 rupees for all the tax sections, IGST, CGST, SGST and cess, here in the user defined input tax credit, and then click on the return format. You can see that the B2B invoice sections, that in the B2B invoice sections the tax credit have been modified as per the user defined tax credit. So that means if we write something here, it will be reflected here ahead of these figures. So we have the options to recalculate this tax. Now let's recalculate the input credit. First of all, let us take the tax amount reflecting in GSTR 2B. From here, we will simply deduct the amount of invoice which is under RCM, because we will claim it separately, not under B2B invoice. Let's take the amount of tax credit available in GSTR 2B. From there, we will simply deduct the tax amount of RCM invoices. simply because we will claim it separately, not under all other ITC. Now, backdated invoice escaped earlier now considered. That is escaped earlier, that was filed before, but that have been escaped by us. So we can consider this now. So we will add this figure here, and there is one more options available, that is previous period invoice considered. That is the same, we have only changed the name of the reason. So these are the figures we need to take into considerations. Now this figure is there, invoice received but return not filed by supplier. We cannot claim these figures because these have not been filed by the supplier. So this will be carry forward. So let sum of these figures. We will simply drag these taxes here. Now see, the return tax amount have been changed as per our defined amount. Here you can see the amount is the same. We have only shown you how you can clear your confusion by your formula. If you look at this, you can see that the invoice received but return not filed by supplier is this figure. So this is the amount which will be carry forwarded for the next period. Now for each and every sections of mismatches, there will be annexures part. Annexure A for reasons of mismatches in GSTR 2B part, and annexure B is for the books data. So in annexures 1, there is only one annexure which have some value, that is annexure 5. So we can simply select annexure 5 from here. We can get the RCM invoice in GSTR 2B, the total of the RCM invoices and the details here. Now again in the B annexure part, you can see there are 3 annexures, that is annexure 12, 13 and 16 have some values. So if you click here in annexure B part, we can select the annexures from the drop down menu given here. We can select the annexure 12, that is the invoice received but return not filed by the supplier. So here are the sum of the invoice details given and the details of invoices. So this is very important list. This is basically the list against which the supplier haven't filed their returns. So I am going to copy this one and paste into a new sheet. I am going to save it as carry forwarded data for December 21. And not only that, I will simply arrange this data according to the GSTN number of the supplier, and I will simply do the separation and send them to each and every supplier and ask them to file their returns at the earliest. I can have all the annexures from here. So this is main reconciliations part. Now friends, I need to show you one important aspect of these tools, that is the highlight of books data in case of duplicate invoice. Now before doing that, I need to clear these sections. So clear these reconciliations, I have one more tab here. This tab will help you to clear the reconciliations without clearing the input part. So let me click here. It will take some time. Now you can see it is completely blank, but if your input data are there as you inserted before. Now you can again carry out the reconciliations by clicking here. but I need to show you the highlight features of these tools. That's why I will move to Tally GSTR2 sheet. I will select first two invoices from here and paste the same at the end of this data. Now after pasting here, I will again move to Reco sheet and click here to get the reconciliation. Here you can see that exact match figure of 2B84, whereas 286 in case of purchase register. It is not the same. Not only that, if you move upward, you can find that the difference is not near to 0. If you find such differences here, that means there is some error in books data. And we'll move to invoice number of this sheet. We will simply select filter by color and we'll simply select the yellow color from here. If we do so, we can find that there are 4 invoices which are highlighted. There you can find some duplicate data. Now if we delete this from here, now if we again click on the Reco part, you can see the difference has formed. And the matching result is also showing the correct figure. So here it is clear that this tool can identify the duplicate invoice of your books data. So this is the release 4.1. In the second part of the video, we will discuss with some raw data, and there are some important points also to discuss.
Friends, I am working on a mission to develop the accounting system as a whole. And to do this, I am trying to develop different tools on different topics. Friends, I need your wholehearted support for my journey. If you have not subscribed my channel till now, I would request you to subscribe the channel and also hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications first whenever I come up with a new video. Friends, I have already distributed a lot of tools and a lot more to come. Very soon I am coming up with a program named Your DMS My Tools. As the name suggests, friends, I will build tools for your DMS that will help you to import your DMS data to Tally directly, and that will be 100% accurate and hassle-free. Friends, I will be coming up shortly with a lot of tools and videos. And thank you once again for watching the video.